Hi everyone, so I'm Gauthier, I'm working with Platform.sh. We've been building the Shopware PaaS for almost 2 years now, and we have a lot of news to announce. A lot of things are happening on the cloud part, as you've seen in the first keynote. So 2 years later, I think at the first 2 years ago at the SCD, we announced the PaaS offering with Shopware. So an integrated offer between Platform.sh and Shopware. So we had a very challenging pilot phase with Shopware, and the two first customers that migrated on project had 6.4 version of Shopware. We quickly identified some issues that were also discussed during the main session with very aggressive cache purging on the cache layer. We also had no stale cache at that time, and some modules were also creating some deadlocks in the database, which was obviously creating some performance challenges. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to migrate all those customers to more recent version of Shopware, which did lead to some not so good experience. But we learned a lot of things, on those two first customers, and now we are ramping up. I mean, we have more than 12 customers online that are very happy with the system, and almost 20 that are in the pipeline to deploy on the offer. We also learned a couple of other things that we are trying to tackle now, and so the first thing is Shopware PaaS is seen right now as a very premium package. Sometimes a bit too expensive, and so that's what we're trying to address as well. Auto-scaling, which was a feature request from the beginning, is now available on dedicated and dedicated speaker architecture. Yeah. Yeah. So it seems some people have hard time to hear, so please, yeah. So agency enablement is also key to success, and that's one of the big things we want to tackle now. We want to do as many training as it takes to help agencies to move from a more traditional hosting to embracing the PaaS and all the automation and all the ghosting that come with it. So please, if you feel that as a developer, as an agency, you want to learn about us, please reach out to us. We'll be there for the 2 days. We are sponsoring this conference for that specific reason. So we have a long list of improvement, and so I won't go through everything, but we are launching a new pricing with a lower SLA, and it starts at 660 euro per month. So it's very aggressive. It still comes with Varnish and Fastly as included. It also comes with backups, with all the things, the development environments that you need, staging and everything that makes Shopware PaaS a great product, but obviously with lower SLA, which give agency a little bit more control over, and a better price for customers. We're also launching a new product that is a single dedicated VM, and so we aim at 30% cheaper than the triple redundant cluster that we have right now, but also 25% faster because we don't have to synchronize the data layer across the different hosts. So we think that this project is going to be a great hit, especially to challenge a little bit, installations that need a lot of performance, but still are, kind of price sensitive. Also, for everyone that is signing our partner program, which is free, by the way, you can get free sandboxes, so you can deploy Shopware PaaS and Shopware for demo, for internal purpose. As an agency, it's super useful to be able to have that. So please reach out to us. That's something that we can enable very easily for you. We are also launching a new performance management program which comes with all the things that we learned from the beginning with, Fastly Stale Cache that is available, the new ESI that is being released, and Oli is going to talk about that. We have new recommendation in Blackfire, specifically for Shopware, and we have a performance package that we are launching that is completely new, which comes with a performance audit before going live, and a load test that is, done by us to make sure that the customer and the agency feel very confident when they go live. So we also want to, continue the enablement of everyone in the room. So that's why I want to introduce Vincent. That's going to show you a quick back to basics on how to, the value brought by Platform.sh and how to deploy. Thank you.
Thank you, Gauthier. Hi, everyone. I'm going to try to give you a better idea of what we do at Platform.sh. So the goal for us is to bring peace of mind to developers. And for that, we take care of everything around the infrastructure. So we provision the infrastructure, we manage it, we patch it, and we monitor both the infrastructure and the app. We also give you the tools to package your app, to deploy it, and to monitor it. There are two sides on the monitoring. First side is about the metrics, so you can just check the CPU, the RAM, the disk consumption, and there is also the performance, the web performance monitoring with Blackfire. And Oli will have a word about that just after. I would like also to have a word about the Git, which is the main API in Platform.sh. Is it important? Because this is the source of truth. Both the code and the infrastructure configuration are versioned in one single repository. With 3 small configuration files in YAML, you can define your entire web stack. Second reason why it's important, it's automation. A simple Git push will trigger the integrated CI/CD pipeline, and you can leverage the 3 hooks that are integrated to customize your deployment. So there is the build hook, where you can run your Composer install, for instance. There is a deploy hook, where you will be able to run your database migration. And there is a post-deploy hook, where you can just send, for instance, a Slack message to inform your colleagues that you deploy a new version of the app. The third reason is immutable infrastructure. Every change that you will need to do in your configuration, so let's say a Shopware YAML configuration file, will need to be done on your laptop, commit, and pushed again in the Git repository to create a new deployment. You can't change anything on the environment once it has been deployed. Everything is read-only. The fourth reason is auditability, because everything is logged. You know who did what and when. Every project comes with its integrated Git repository, but you can still use your usual Git repo like GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. There is a source integration that will keep the 2 repos in sync. About the infrastructure, so we are using a container-based infrastructure. You don't need to change anything in your code. We are relying on well-known open source technology. We support 10 different runtimes currently, so PHP, Go, Node.js, Python, Java, Rust, Ruby, and some others. And we also support 16 different managed services, so databases like MySQL, MariaDB, Postgres. We also support search index like Elasticsearch, OpenSearch, but even cache layers like Redis, Memcached, or even Varnish or Kafka, so a lot of different services. And this is fully integrated in the offer. Okay. A quick word about security. So, as we said, the file system is read-only. So, if you need to upload some images or assets, you will need to define some moon point, and that's a way to to upload some file in folders that have read and write permission. Containers are always up to date, meaning that every time you will deploy a new version of your app, you will benefit of the last version of the container image. And if there is let's say, a 0-day issue, once we will have generated the new image, including the patch, we will trigger a redeploy of all the projects that are impacted by this security issue. We provide secret management, access management. You also have an SSH access to the app container. You can use either an SSH key to connect or the SSH certificate, which is generated when you use the CLI. It's automatically generated and renewed in the background. We support two-factor authentication. We do encryption both at rest and in transit. So at rest meaning everything on the disk is encrypted, and in transit meaning it's HTTPS everywhere, and we manage the Let's Encrypt certificate for you. So you don't need to worry about that. We take daily backups. We have a global round-the-clock support, so we are something like 331 employees at Platform.sh, and we cover almost 19 different time zones, so we have always someone ready to answer your ticket, even in the night or in the weekend. And we do 24/7 monitoring of both the infrastructure and the app. So for the app, during the onboarding phase, you will have to provide a few URL that we will monitor. And if something happens, that an URL starts to answer 500, we'll be pinged and we'll have a look. And if it's an infrastructure issue, we'll fix it. And if it's an app issue, we'll contact you. So just a quick demo to show how easy it is to spin up a new project. So you just need to use the usual Shopware recipe, so a simple composer create project. So at this time, this is not related to PaaS at all. This is the same way to create a project for on-premise. And then we will just require the PaaS package, and it will automatically download the required file for PaaS. Then you will need to create, to initialize your Git repository locally. You will have to add all those files that have been downloaded and do your first commit to have all those files in the Git repository. Step 3 is about connecting this local repository with your Platform.sh project or your Shopware PaaS project. So you just run the CLI, so Shopware project set remote with your project ID. It will add automatically the remote URL in the Git repo. And you can just run your Git push, and it will trigger, like I said, the CI/CD pipeline. You can follow the logs either in the CLI or also on the console, on the web console. And so we'll go through the 3 hooks that we talked about earlier. There is all the composer install step and everything around the team compilation. And once it's done, the container image is pushed to the infrastructure. We'll generate the HTTP certificate, the Let's Encrypt certificate, and that's it. It will be almost ready. The full process to create the project from 0 to have an up and running Shopware instance is around 10 minutes. So for the purpose of this demo, I accelerated a bit the video, but yeah, it's 10 minutes. So at this step, the app container is already running. We are in the deploy hook, so we are initializing the DB. So we are running the database migration. And in a few seconds, we'll see that we will have a running Shopware instance. So we can click on the URL that has been automatically generated for your for your website. And that's it. We have a running shopware, but as you probably saw, there is an issue with the theme. That's expected because we don't have yet the theme file. And for that, we need a last and final step. We need to run a few SSH commands. So we'll run the console theme change, console theme dump. We'll download those JSON configuration file, add them to the Git repository, and push again. It will trigger a new occurrence of the build. So we'll run again the composer install. This time the theme compilation will be successful because we have all the files, and the deploy hook will be a bit faster because we don't need to initialize the database, and we should have in a few seconds an up and running shopware instance. So we can just wait a few seconds. Containers are opening. Yeah, the deploy hook is way faster, and that's done. So we can just check the website, click on the URL. So yeah, we have now a front end that works, and we can log in the admin, and that's OK. That's completed. That's the end of my part, so I will hand over to Oliver to talk about Blackfire, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, cool, that's working. Awesome. Oh, more people than I expected. Okay, cool. And I have much more time. Okay, so Vincent shows you how you deploy your code, right? That's awesome. You as a developer push to your branch, awesome, everything is working, now you go live. And I'm more the guy which is not deploying. I'm the guy, you know, which coming into the game when the customer calls you and say, hey, the shop is slowly, or the shit hits the fan and everything is down, you know? And yeah, there's something I love when I'm dealing with Platform.sh or when I'm dealing with performance. It's a tool which is called Blackfire. How is this working here? Ah, awesome. You know, you have monitoring with Blackfire, you know, you deploy everything and then you're going live and everything is not working anymore, you know. The happy world is ended and you come into this shitty world where everything is broken and the server are burning and there comes this cool small game into your life, which is called Blackfire. It gives you the opportunity to trace and monitor what's going on your server and why your application is running so bad. You know, you can see, hey, okay, in the last 20 hours, a user fucked up my server and now I have to take care of it. And I heard many of you or many people don't know about how to deal with this. You know, you're going to the server, making some error logs, and you know, it's 20 years ago I did this too. But today there's much more cooler tooling, and Blackfire is one of it. So you have here a cool overview about what's going on, and you can also see, let's take a look if the laser pointer is working. Oh, cool, about what the application is really doing, right? Oh, there's an impact of 50% of a controller, or and you can see it in detail, right? You can go a step further and go much more in detail and take a look to really specific profiles of one of these different URLs of these different controllers and have a look, okay, what's really going on inside. You have also an overview about how much the request costs, how much memory is consumed, how much database queries are executed, and can much easier dig into it about finding out what's going wrong on your system, right? And it's always deployed with Platform.sh, and it's always integrated, so you get it always too. So let's take a look what's really going on, right? Because you know just now, okay, the shit hits the fan, and they are cool trace it, but how to deal with this, yeah? And many people come into this view then and say, oh, what the fuck is going on? That's too much pillars and too much bars for me. I have absolutely no idea about what it is. So let's break it down because it's really easy. In Shopware we have just 3 pillars. which messing up your servers, right? So the first pillar, you know, like my colleague Daniel, I have slides where you cannot read anything. That's also okay, you know, it's just about splitting the screenshots into smaller pieces, right? So I have this cool animation there, you know, like transparency. So the first pillar is the card, which costs you nearly 20% of your performance on each page. So we're always loading the card, we always have to load the context, which user is it, which payment message, which items he wants to load, and it's on each page, right? Because on each page we have to calculate them. So the next pillar is the header footer, right? We want this navigation on top, we want this footer on top that he can contact us because we love this. And this has to also be rendered. So this is split it into two parts. So first, we have to load this data, which is the second big pillar. And at the end, we have to render this data always, right? Because rendering is trick, and trick is always consuming a lot of CPU. So, which costs you on each side nearly 33%. For 28 for the loading of the data, depending on how much categories you have. You see here an example of 400 categories. I also heard about customers with 2,000 categories in the header. That's having fun, really. And for rendering, and also this depends how much your designers wants to escalate on your website, right? When you have more div boxes, you get more rendering performance. And the last pillar is the real content. So the listing, the detailed page, the cart content, or whatever. So that's the rest. It depends here on what's really going on. If you're in the current page, you have no listing loader, you know. If you are in the checkout, you are also not loading product data for listings or filter panels. And also this is separated in two parts. You have one part where we're loading the data, where some queries are executed in the small yellow bars there. And we have a big trick part where we are rendering the filter panel and we are rendering the content. So, and now comes something into the game where you say, okay, let's optimize this, right? Beforehand, we just say, yes, throw it into a Redis and everything is fine. That's not working because you have one big full page cache, which you have to invalidate each time you change a product, right? Because maybe the product can be now on page 2 or on page 3, or maybe it's lost or gone somewhere else. So you have a full page content, and there comes something into the game which is called ESI or SSI, edge side includes or server side includes, which gives you the opportunity to split your application into different parts. And allows you also to split the caching into different parts. So let's say each customer group should have an own page, right? An own listing, an own shopping experience. And so how is my cache permutated? By the customer group, right? So each customer group gets another listing or homepage. But all of them have the same header and all of them have the same footer. Why should they see another impressum? You know? And there comes this ESI. So this ESI gives us the opportunity to get rid of the header and footer, which is nearly 33% of our page each time, right? In the checkout and everywhere else. So how do we do this? Symfony gives you an opportunity to use the render ESI or render SSI. Then you have to switch it. And just saying, hey, instead of including a template and rendering the template, we say, hey, render ESI. So call the URL, make a sub request, get the content and inject it here. And this sub request is cached individually. So you can just add a question mark, customer group behind, and then you can have different permutations there. Okay, but what does it mean? So Daniel already taught this in the keynote. And in general, it swaps your whole application into another format. It swaps it to, you have your cart loading stuff at the beginning. Now comes your whole, we load the product listing and we render the product listing. And now something funny comes into the game. The ESI header and footer are no more splitted somewhere in your application. No, they have own ESI controller calls with own trick rendering, with own entity loading. And yeah, the footer is really slow, tiny here, so I have just a small trick rendering. And these ESI calls are stored in the Varnish or in Fastly or in your local HTTP cache. And you can cache it completely individually. And if you have it cached, you get minus 30, 40, 50% on each page just by excluding them for each content, right? You don't have to cache them anymore in each full page context. And if you change a product, it does not matter, right? Because the categories are still the same. So changing a product does not have an impact on the footer. Changing a product does not have an impact to the header. Or if you change a property name, you have to invalidate the listing filter, right? Yeah, but no more the header. And that's how ESI can completely be a game changer for you to when you designing your application and say, hey, how is caching work in our system? Some customers want individual page content per customer. Okay, but is the header also required? You could also think about injecting, using ESI calls for product prices, but then you're getting a bit messy about many calls on the listing page. But there are different hundreds of opportunities which gives you this ESI and server SSI includes. So, if you have further questions about how is this possible, and feel free to contact me. And I guess we are done, right? Yeah, it looks like.
Thank you. And if you have any questions now, we have a few minutes left before we go into our lunch break. So if you have a question, please raise your hand.
They are running to lunch.
There in the back.
Hi. First of all, thanks for the talk. I haven't worked with a lot of ESI myself, but how does this behave if you have something like context-related information inside the header that needs to switch and cannot be cached for every user, like, for example, a gross net switch that's part of the context?
But even this, you can just inject it inside the cache key, right? If you have a gross net switch, I also saw a customer which has this. But then you have a permutation of two, right? You have a net header and you have a gross header, much better than 20 headers, depending on each customer group and each context rules which is evaluated, you know? So then you have to think about, okay, how is the permutation of each part of my application and where makes it sense to split it in different calls, right?
All right, yeah, makes absolute sense. Thanks. And another thing, because we heard about ESIs in the main keynote, in the warning today, will this be like the default in the future, that the header and the footer will be injected through ESIs?
Yeah, we will work on it right now. There's an open GitHub merge request where we implement this and rework this. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
My question is more, what support does actually Platform.sh provide if shit hits the fan? So if the website is down, are you the first port of call, or because it can have whatever reason, right?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, there's two answers to that question because we are introducing this new plan that is cheaper. But I'm going to talk about all the things we are doing right now with the enterprise level of support. And as Vincent mentioned, when we are going live, we implement what we call ISLA monitoring, which is actually a component that is going to check every minute if the website is healthy. And if it's not healthy, it's going to send our ops team alerting. And so we have a team of about 200 people that are dedicated to support and operations that are across the world in the Follow the Sun organization. And so those people, if they are seeing an alert, first they are going to create a ticket, and so you are going to be alerted. And so the goal of that ticket is to have a central place to discuss between the customer, the merchant, the agency, Shopware and Platform.sh, and so it's really a place where everyone can see what's going on and add additional context, ask questions, and share what we know about the situation. And so, yes, we have high SLA on that. We can provide, less than 1 hour time to response. We also have uptime SLA, so commitment in making sure that the application stays online. Yeah, so we can go to 4.9, so 99.99 uptime SLA. And yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Awesome.